Hello children and welcome to the session today. Children, of all the unique things that make Earth a unique planet are water. We know that water is called the elixir of life. This is because water is required by everyone, whether it is plants, animals or human beings. Today in this chapter, we are going to learn more about what water is, where is water found, and what are the problems with the water that we are using nowadays. So let's get on with chapter number 18, water. So we know that Earth is called a blue planet because the Earth is covered with a lot of water. But out of that water, only 0.01% is possible to be used by human beings. Rest of the water is very salty or it is under the ground. How? We shall learn further. Now, water is useful for all the three, plants, animals and human beings. So, water is used for drinking, bathing, cleaning, washing, cooking and gardening. Water is also used in industries for producing electricity, in agriculture, and it is also used in the thermal power plants. Now, what are the sources of water for Earth? So, we know that precipitation in the form of rain and snow provides us fresh water. Where is this fresh water going? This fresh water is going into rivers, lakes, and finally flowing into the seas and oceans. We know that there are many rivers that are full of water because of the melting snow throughout the year. Now, some of the water also goes under the ground. Now, what happens with this water? Let us understand. Rainwater and water from lakes, rivers and ponds seep through the soil to fill the empty spaces and cracks below the ground. This process is called infiltration. This water collects above the impervious rocks below the earth and is called groundwater. The upper limit of groundwater is called water table. Groundwater is utilized by digging wells, operating hand pumps and tube wells. The water table keeps getting replenished by the seepage of rainwater. If too much groundwater is drawn out for domestic irrigation and industrial use, the water table falls. At some places, groundwater is stored between the layers of hard rock below the water table. This is known as an aquifer. So children, the water present in the form of rivers, lakes, ponds, etc. is known as surface water, and the water below the earth is known as groundwater. Now, water is useful for all living organisms. How? So, we know that water is essential for all life processes. So, when you are eating food and the food gets stuck in your throat, what do? You take a sip of water. What is helping the blood to flow? It is again water. Where do the chemical reactions in the body takes place? Again, water. Children, along with this, water is the second primary need for human beings, and water helps the animals and human beings to maintain the body temperature. So when you go for a run or you're standing in hot sun for a very long time, what calms you down? A glass of water. And again, when you talk about plants, we understand that the seed will germinate only if it gets water. The next important thing we know is that water is a raw material for the process of photosynthesis. And we also know that water travels in the plants with the help of xylem cells. It helps the plant to prepare its food, which then is transported through phloem. So this is the use of water for living beings. Talking about water and economic development. So we know that water is used for agricultural production. Now different crops require different amount of water. For instance, wheat and rice. So we know that wheat requires less water, and we know that rice here requires standing water. The rice fields are flooded with water and later on rice is transplanted into other fields. So whether it is less requirement or more requirement, we know that water is required by plants. Also children, there are no plants growing in the Himalayan region or the desert region. Why? Because there is very little water. The surface is very rocky in one area and very sandy in the other area. Now talking about industries, we need water for producing electricity. So we know that there is a hydroelectric station which uses the power of falling water to move turbines and generate electricity. Then there is a thermal power station. What happens in a thermal power station? Coal is burnt. It changes water into vapor or steam, and the power of this steam or vapor is used to move the turbine. So this is how electricity is generated using water. Now the two industries that use the maximum amount of water are textile industry and paper industry. Children, this is why water becomes a very important tool in economic development. Now let's talk about the availability of water. We know that 70% of earth is water. Now let's break down this percentage into usable water. So about 71% of the earth's surface is covered with water. 97.2% of this water is salty. So it is totally excluded, cannot be used. The remaining 2.07% of water is locked in glaciers and ice caps. So what is the water that we are using? It is approximately 1% of water that is found in rivers, lakes and ponds. Children, we understand that out of this very small percentage, what is now happening? Scarcity of water. What is scarcity of water? The book defines it as a situation where there is insufficient water to satisfy normal requirements. Why is this happening? Let us understand. The water table is getting depleted for several reasons. Scanty rainfall due to changes in the weather, overpopulation leading to more demand of water is houses, schools, construction sites, etc. Increase in industries results in the drawing out of huge quantities of water from the ground. Deforestation results in running off of rainwater and the failure of soil to hold moisture. With more construction, areas like parks, playgrounds and open spaces are made concrete. Water does not seep into the cemented floor easily. Having understood the scarcity of water, let us talk about conservation of water. So, how can you conserve water? Household can save water by promptly fixing leaks or dripping taps, by improving the methods of irrigation by using drip irrigation, installing rainwater harvesting system, constructing dams and embankments to save water. Instead of taking a shower, what should we take? We should use buckets and mugs. Talking about rainwater harvesting. So what is happening in rainwater harvesting? As you can see, the rainwater falls on the roof. Then from pipes, they are connecting the roof and the ground. So through these pipes, the water flows down, and in the underground area is a storage tank which fills up with rainwater. Children, much of the rainwater falling on earth is actually going waste. So by rainwater harvesting, we can actually use this water for most of the needs that we have. Let's talk about water that we can use. Now, this water that can be used for drinking purposes is known as potable water. The water that we get from rivers, ponds, seas, etc. is not potable. You cannot drink it directly. So what are the means by which you can purify water? There is sedimentation, decantation, as well as filtration. Even chemicals like chlorine and potassium permanganate kill the harmful organisms inside water. And we all are using different kinds of water filters as well. So children, the river water that we use is full of impurities. These impurities are called pollutants, and the process of adding these impurities is known as pollution. Some of the major causes of pollution are the sewage that flows out of homes, hotels and industries into the water sources. Defecation in open fields. When the rainwater flows through these open fields, it carries all the fecal matter into drinking water sources. So the germs and filth, dumping of factory wastes, which are known as effluents, also affects the water bodies, as also fertilizers, pesticides and insecticides that are used by farmers. Now what do? You create a way in which the filth and dung is not allowed to reach water. The sewage water coming from homes, industries, etc. has to be treated before the water is allowed to mix with the drinking water sources. Do not allow pools of stagnant water to develop. Again, factory waste should be recycled and use of chemical fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides should be minimized. Then purification of water bodies should be carried out on and off. So children, in this chapter, we have understood why water is the elixir of life. We have understood how water is a very, very important resource. What are the uses of water? What is the availability of water? What are the reasons that water is getting polluted and what can we do to control this pollution? So I hope you're ready to take action in order to conserve whatever amount of water is available to us. Thank you.